Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to get every single combat shard that if you type /AM appears in the combat skill section in the attribute menu. So there's 37 shards I am going to be going over here. Most I'll show you how to get, some I'll just have to tell you because they're either really rare or I cannot get them at this point in my progression. Anyway, we're going to go in order of common all the way up to legendary. To start off with, we're going for Skeletor Ruler, which comes from the chill shard. So for this, you're going to need to go ahead and find the chill spot in Galatea, which is by this little waterfall if you run this way, and they should spawn in these areas. So what you got to do, best way to do it is get your hunt axe and also get a black hole and just hit it with your hunt axe until it's below 10% HP, place a black hole and hit it into it, and there we go. You caught a chill shard. And what this does is, at max level, it increases damage to skeletal creatures by plus 30%, and you need 96 to max this out. Next up is the Voracious Spider shard. So if you come to the spider's den, you'll find them over at this place of the map. And what you got to do is use your hunt axe to get them low, and then place down a black hole, and this will be the quickest way to get to the shard. Just got to knock it in, and it should eventually go in there if it would like the black hole. Oh, there we go. I thought it was bugged for a moment, but it is not. There we go, you caught a Voracious Spider shard. And at max level, this grants you plus 40 defense against spiders, requiring 96 to max out. Next up, we have the Tank Zombie shard. So this is from dungeons. So if you just go into a dungeon run and make sure you have salt enabled, which if you don't know what salts are, if you go into the Lush Lilac collection and the Foraging collections, all of these are salts here. So you're probably going to want to use the final Lush Lilac Bonbon shard, which is in collection 5. So once you put this on, it grants you a plus 1.1% chance to charm the mob that you defeat and capture their shard. Last 24 hours, there's also a lot of things in the game that can increase this. So yeah, you just go into a dungeon run and you can either kill Super Tank Zombies, Crypt Tank Zombies, Master Crypt Tank Zombies, or Master Super Tank Zombies with the salt enabled, and you should get them. And then once you do get them, it grants you plus 40 defense against undead mobs at max level, requiring 96 to max out. For the Zealot shard, we're heading to the Dragon's Nest, and we're going to be hitting these Zealots with our hunt axe, getting them to a very low HP, spawning a black hole, and then this will get us the shard. There we go. And at max level, it grants you plus 40 defense against mobs in the end, requiring 96 to max out. So next up, we're going for the Azure shard. So you're going to want to wear some nice armor that you can go into this water with and have a fishing net, and we're looking for these blue tropical fish right here. So if we just use our fishing net on it, there you go, you caught an Azure shard. And at max level, it grants you plus 50 strength while on the Foraging Islands, maxing out at 96 shards. Next up, we have the Bezal shard, which can be found on the Crimson Isle. If you go up and see the Bezal mobs, use your hunt axe to get them low, and then once it's below 10% HP, you can use your black hole and you can capture it in there. There we go, you caught a Bezal shard, which at max level grants you plus 40 defense against mobs while in the Crimson Isle, and it requires 96 to max out. Next up, we have the Rain Slime shard. So these don't always spawn, but whenever it's raining or thundering in the spider's den, you'll have slime spawn here. You get them low with your hunt axe, you place down the black hole, and then it will get sucked up to that, and then you will get the Rain Slime shard, which at max level regains plus 5 of your maximum mana every time you hit a mob, and it's capping at 64 shards. Next up is the Seer shard. So if you get a black hole, come to the Dragon's Nest and get these Seers using your hunt axe to 1 HP, spawn in the black hole and hit it in there. There we go. You caught a Seer shard, which at max level, your Dragon Shortbow gains a plus 20% more damage while in the end, and it requires 64 shards to max. The next one is Zombie Soldier shard, which is gotten through dungeons by killing zombie knights, zombie soldiers, zombie commanders, or zombie lords while using salts, and at max level grants you plus 30% more damage against undead monsters, capping at 64 shards. Next up is the Revenant Sycophant shard, which requires Revenant tier 3 enabled, and it's just a mini boss you spawn while trying to spawn the main boss here. So there we go, we spawn one in, so we want to get a black hole and get it low with our hunt axe, and then it will go into the black hole like that. And there we go, you caught a Sycophant shard, which at max level heals for plus 1% of your max health each time you kill a mob, maxing at 64 shards. So for the End shard, you're going to want to get your fishing gear and fish in the water on Galatea. And then once you have caught it, it is an epic sea creature, so it might take a little while for you to get. You get it low, your hunt axe, place a black hole, and it will be sucked up. And at max level, your axes deal plus 20% extra damage to creatures in Galatea, and it's maxing at 64 shards. Next up is the Soul of the Alpha shard. So if you come to the Howling Cave in the park, you find Soul of the Alphas, you place a black hole down, get it low with your hunt axe. And then here we are. You caught Soul of the Alpha shard, which at max level deals plus 1% more damage per Grandma Wolf Pet combo. Max is the 50 combo, requiring 64 shards to max out. Next up, we're going for the Flaming Spider shard, which if you come to the Crimson Isle and see these Flaming Spiders, You want to get them low with your hunt axe, and then place down a black hole, and they should be sucked into that. There we go. You caught a Flaming Spider shard, which at max level grants plus 30% more damage against spiders, maxing at 64 shards. Next up is the Bruiser shard. If you go to the Zealot Bruiser hideout, get these low with your hunt axe, and then black hole them. There we go. You caught a Bruiser shard, which at max level grants plus 30% more defense against end creatures, maxing at 64 shards. Next up is the Stridersurfer shard. So if you come over this way, head over to the coral house, but then go left of it, there's going to be a little entrance on the side of the map right here to go to the lava area. So there are two ways to get this. I'll go over both just because you might not want to do the other. First of all, it's getting these low with the hunt axe while they're spawning naturally, placing down a black hole, and then getting the shard that way. But you can also get your fishing gear out and your lava rod, and every single sea creature you get in this area will be a Stridersurfer. So then you can get it low again with your hunt axe and place down the black hole. And a max level grants you a plus 30% more damage against lava sea creatures, maxing out at 64 shards. Next up is the drown shard. So you're going to want to wear gear to go underwater, and also you preferably want the flying fish pet. I don't have it right now because my cult member has it sadly, but you're going to want to go in the water and gather Taya, find this little building, make sure you have your black hole and your hunt axe, and right down here there will be these drown mobs, so get them low with your hunt axe, and then place the black hole above them, and they should get sucked into it like that. There we go, you caught a drown shard. And a max level grants plus 30% more damage against humanoid creatures, which then maxes out at 48 shards. Next up is the Star Sentry shard. So if you get your hunt axe and a black hole, find the Star Sentries in the Dwarven Mines, get them to 1 HP, and then place the black hole. There we go, you caught a Star Sentry shard, which at max level grants plus 10% extra mithril powder, requiring 48 to max out. Next up is the Skeletor shard, which is another one from dungeons obtained with salts, and you have to just kill Skeletors. And at max level increases damage from ranged weapons by plus 25%, maxing at 48. Next up is the Thyst shard, which if you go to the Crystal Hollows, get your pickaxe out, and just mine amethyst, you should get the Thyst to spawn. So for this, you place down the black hole, you get it low with your hunt axe, and then it gets sucked in. There you go, you got a Thyst shard, which at max level grants plus 10% extra gemstone powder, maxing at 48. Next up is the Kada Knight shard. You come to the Crimson Isle, find the Kada Knights, get them low with your hunt axe, and then place down a black hole. There we go, and then it gets sucked in, and you caught a Kada Knight shard, which at max level, when under 20% maximum HP, your damage and defense increase by plus 25%, maxing at 48 shards. Next up is the Wither Spectre shard, which if you come back to the Crimson Isle, we have the Wither Spectres, get them low with your hunt axe, and then place down a black hole, and it should be sucked in there. There we go, you caught a Wither Spectre shard, which at max level, when you haven't been damaged in the last 5 seconds or more, your mana costs are decreased by plus 10%, maxing at 48 shards. Next up is the Matcho shard. So right now, recording this video is a bit hard to find because there's so many people trying to find them, but whenever a volcano erupts in the Crimson Isle, they will be spitting out of the volcano. You go ahead and kill them, or get them low with the hunt axe, and then black hole them, and then you get their shard. And then at max level, it increases the duration of fire damage that you inflict on enemies by plus 300%, maxing at 48 shards. Next up is their Stalagmight shard. So for the Stalagmight shard, you are going to want to come to the fusing machine and fuse a Quartz Fang shard with a Cave Della family shard or a Silent Death shard, and then you'll get one of these. And at max level gains plus 10% extra Glazite powder, maxing at 48 shards. And next up we have the Fungloom shard, which at the fusing machine, you want to fuse a Cave Della family shard with a Forest category shard that is epic or higher. And then at max level gain a plus 100% chance to gain an additional chisel charge upon starting the fossil excavator, maxing at 48 shards. We then have the Thorn shard. So if you're playing 4th floor dungeons, not master mode, I don't believe that counts. And I believe whenever you do kill this, it should appear in the rewards chest. And then at max level, you gain a plus 15% more damage when at full health, requiring 32 to max out. We then have the Flare shard. So if you come to the Crimson Isle, you can see these little flare mobs here. And what you're going to do, you want to get them low with the hunt axe, and then place down the black hole, and they should go into that. There we go, you caught a Flare shard, which at max level grants plus 30% more damage against mobs while in the Crimson Isle, requiring 32 to max out. Next up is the Mimic shard. So while you're playing dungeons, you want to kill a Mimic with salts, and then once you get that, at max level, dungeon blessings are plus 10% strong on you, requiring 32 to max out. We then have the Barbarian Duke shard. So if you come to the Crimson Isle, to the Barbarian place, someone wants to place a black hole up top while you hype it down below. You can, there are other ways of killing it if you don't have a Hyperion. but this would be the quickest way. So yeah, once it spawns in, we'll get it low and then it'll be sucked into there. And there we go, you received 2 Barbarian Duke shards for assisting the kill. On a max level, it increases your melee damage dealt by plus 25%, and it maxes out at 32 shards. Next up is the Hellwisp shard. So if you want to get this low, it is a bit hard with the Huntack, so I would use a bow if I were you. Get it low and then place a black hole next to it. Okay, there we go. If I place this, and it gets sucked into there. There we go, you caught a Hellwisp shard, which at max level grants a plus 20% chance to get a second heavy pearl, maxing at 32 shards. Next up is the ghost shard. So if you come to the Dwarven Mines and get these ghosts low and place a black hole near them, then they should get sucked up into your black hole. And there we go, you caught a ghost shard, which at max level grants plus 10 true defense, maxing at 32 shards. Next up is the Endstone Protector shard. So if you come up to the Dragon's Nest, spawn in the Endstone Protector and then kill it, and there we go. And then if you're lucky enough to drop the shard from the Endstone Protector at max level, your defense is increased by plus 2%, requiring 24 to max out. And then next up in the Fusion Machine, we have the Lapis Creeper shard. And for this, you have to go to the Fusion Machine and fuse a Lapis Skeleton shard with a Ghost shard, or any shard that is legendary or higher. And at max level grants you plus 5 enchanted wisdom, maxing at 24 shards. Next up we have the Taurus shard. So if you head over to the Crimson Isle and fish one out of your lava rod. Okay, now we've got one, we're getting it below 300k HP, putting it in a black hole. There we are. And you caught a Taurus shard. So at max level, your intelligence is increased by plus 1%, requiring 24 to max out. Next up, we have the Shinyfish shard. So this is quite a different one, and you got to catch this by fishing with the Starbait attribute, which Starbait is fused from a Kraken shard with a water category shard, or obtained from Kudra, and that grants you a chance to get a Shinyfish shard. And then once you have that max level, it grants you plus 12.5 health regen, maxing at 24 shards. But next up is the Burningsoul shard. So you can get this by killing the Burningsoul demon with a black hole, which is a Slayer mini boss from a tier 4 blaze. There is a much easier way of getting that though, if you go ahead and get yourself some hunt traps and place them down like I have here in the Crimson Isle. Right here I have captured one and I can just get it out like that and then get the trap back selected, place it down again, and then I'll come back in a little while, in a few hours time, and I should get another one. So that is the easiest way to do it with traps. And at max level it grants you plus 10 bonus attack speed, requiring 24 to max out. We then have the Power Dragon shard. So this one is obtained from Master Mode Catacombs Floor 7, I believe, from the reward chest, and it grants you plus 30% more damage against bosses and mini bosses, maxing at 24 shards. We then have the Apex Dragon shard, which at the Fusion Machine you can fuse a Power Dragon shard with any shard, and it can also be attained from Master Mode Catacombs Floor 7 from the loot chest, I believe. And at max level grants you plus 10 combat wisdom, requiring 24 to max out. Anyway, that is the end for the combat guide of attributes. In the next video, we'll be going over fishing and farming, so stay tuned for that. I hope it did help you out. If it did, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.